Hello, and we're back for the new year. I hope you had a lovely Christmas. And if you have found that bedtime has started to get a bit harder since Christmas, now we're trying to settle back into a normal routine. Maybe there's more stalling, more tears, more I need you, or more negotiation. And you're finding yourself more snappy than patient, then this is for you. And if part of you is thinking, I just want my evenings back, I want you to hear this clearly. It doesn't make you a bad mum, it just means you're someone who's tired after putting in a huge amount of effort over the festive period. Now, January is such a strange, emotional kind of gear change, isn't it? Christmas happens, and whether it was magical, messy, a bit disappointing, or all of the above, it usually means more togetherness, a different routine, more snacks, more late nights, more fine, just this once. And then suddenly it's normal again. School bags, lunch boxes, timetables, work, house resets. And your body can be like, I just need silence. Meanwhile, your child is like, wait, where did you go? So you might be noticing things like bedtime takes an hour longer than it used to, or your child is suddenly clingier, needing more cuddles, more reassurance, more time with you, staying with them. They're suddenly remembering at the last minute that they need some water, or the loo, or a different blanket, or one more question. Or it's the opposite. They are wired and silly and bouncing around almost like they can't land. And you might be standing there thinking, I've done all the things. We've done bath, story, teeth. Why is this so hard now? And then the guilt arrives. Well, they just want connection, or I should be more patient, or other mums cope better than this. Or even, why am I so irritated at my own child? And underneath that, there's often a quieter truth. I'm tired. I'm touched out. I need my evening. And I feel guilty for needing it. Here's how you can change how this feels. Often it's not just your child regressing or being difficult, it's them adjusting to a loss of togetherness. Christmas often gives children a real taste of more you, not necessarily perfect you, just more of you. Different rhythm, more moments. And then January arrives, and it's like a tiny grief. They, of course, don't call it that, they don't know it's that, but their body feels the loss, that something's changed. And bedtime is the most obvious moment for those anxieties to rise, because it's the moment they have to separate from you for the night. And at the same time, you're also adjusting. You might be coming off the back of holding a lot of emotional and practical load, trying to make Christmas nice, absorbing family dynamics, spending money, planning food, buying gifts, managing meltdowns, traveling, hosting. It's endless. And even if your Christmas was quiet, it can still be a lot. There's a lot of expectations around the kind of Christmas we want to provide for our children. So your nervous system is not going to be exactly overflowing with extra patience at this time of year. And that's not a character flaw, it's just the reality of the season. So what do you do with this without turning bedtime into a whole new project? One of the simplest shifts is stop trying to make bedtime work and aim to make it lighter. It doesn't have to be perfect or calm and magical, just lighter. So a few tiny things that can help, and you can take or leave any of them. First, name the shift to yourself. Sometimes just saying, okay, this is January, readjusting back into a new rhythm, stops you from interpreting all of the chaos as failure. You're not going back to square one, you're just in a transition week or two. Second, reduce the emotional pressure at bedtime. If you're telling yourself, I must fix this, then bedtime becomes much more pressured. If you can tell yourself, this is a phase, we're finding our feet again, it often gets easier to hold the line and know when to compromise and accommodate your child. Thirdly, offer connection at different times in different ways, because children don't need endless connection, and it doesn't have to just be at bedtime. They need little and often, regular, secure connection they can trust. So rather than thinking you have to give more and more and more, you might gently give regular hugs throughout the day, a little bit of extra cuddles in the evening. For example, I'm here for a cuddle, then I'm going into the kitchen, and then I'll cuddle you all the way upstairs to bed. Or while they're in bed, I'm here for a cuddle, I'll read you a story, and I'm just going to go to the loo. I'll check in on you in a few minutes. You don't have to be endlessly available to be loving, and the coming back is the reassurance for them that that separation isn't permanent. Fourthly, let your boundary be warm and don't complicate things. Now, a lot of mums do get pulled into explaining and negotiating and persuading and fixing feelings. And all of those are fine in their place, but at bedtime, when it's quite emotional, your child's not going to be able to hear that. So sometimes the calmer move is using fewer words, warming your tone and your expression, and steadily following through. You don't have to be strict or cold, it's just keeping it warm and simple. And, if you do lose it one night because you're tired, that's not the end of the story. It's a moment you can repair and reset. Just a simple, I'm sorry, that wasn't very nice. I'm learning to be more patient at bedtime. Let's have another cuddle. And then I'm leaving. Now, I want to say this clearly. You are allowed to want your evenings back, and you're allowed to be tired. You're allowed to feel disillusioned after a wonderful or less than perfect Christmas. You're allowed to need space. And needing a break doesn't mean that you're not being loving. And if your child is protesting bedtime right now, it doesn't mean that there's something wrong with them either. It doesn't mean that you've spoiled them over Christmas. It means that they enjoyed you. And that's actually a lovely thing, even if it's wildly inconvenient at 7:45 in the evening. So if bedtime's been harder this week, please don't add self-judgment on top. Treat it like a transition week or two. Lower the pressure, hold a warm boundary, and just let it be imperfect. This is exactly the kind of real life moment I'll be supporting mums with inside the Calm Mum community. It's not perfect parenting, just steady support throughout the messy bits, and I'll share more soon. For now, take a breath. You're not failing, you're resetting.